All right, so this time we're going to have a look at the little solo that goes with these chords. So I hope you've been practicing those chords and you've got the rhythm nice and tight, and everything is changing well in your chords. So let's have a look at the solo close up. I'm going to break every lick down step by step so you can see how it goes. So we're starting out with a little blues lick here, which goes like this. That's the first bit. So what you're doing is you're playing 5 on the D, all right? Then you're pre-bending, so you're bending this note up on the 7th fret of the G, up a whole step, and then you're picking it, letting it down slowly. That might be a bit tricky to keep the pressure on. And then play 5 on the G there, and give it a good bit of vibrato, that. Then slide up to the 8th fret on the G. Now at this point the chord is going to a B7 chord, and this note, which is a D sharp, is going to sound really good over that D7 chord. So you've got this so far. Up to the 8th, and then slide back up to the 9th fret there on the G. All right, so that's quite cool. All right, the next part, we've got this. Okay, a few notes there, but what this is the first phrase. So that is 7 on the G, 9 on the G to 10 on the G. Do the same kind of move as you did before. Bend up the G up a whole step. Okay, let it down. And what you're going to do is, when you've done that, let it down, but hammer on from the 10th fret up to the 12th. Pull off, all right, so hammer on to the 12th, pull off back to the 9th. Okay, so far we've got this. And then we have this. So that's 9 on the G, 10 on the G. So you're going 9, 10, 9 on the G, hammer on, 10, pull off to 9, to 7. It sounds a bit complicated, doesn't it? But when you play it in context, I'll just play it from the beginning. And the last bit is you go 5 on the G to 4 on the G. All right? So that bit once more. Right, so here's the next part. Bit of sliding here. All right, so this bit is 4 on the G, all right, 5 on the G, 7 on the G, back to 5 on the G. Then we have this. That's 5, 7 on the G, up to 9 on the G, back 1 to 8 on the G. And the last little bit of that is, so that's 8 on the G, 9 on the G, 11 on the G, slide to 12 on the G. So let me play that for you. If you find it difficult, by the way, using fingers 1, 2 and 4, you can do it with one finger. I'll show you what I mean. So that might be easier for you. And then we have another little blues lick. Okay, so that's 14 to 12 on the D. And then hit 15 on the B. And then you're bending up, pre-bending, again another pre-bend, 14 on the G, let down to 12 on the G, and then hit 14 on the D. Okay, so far we've got this. and then the last note is 12 on the G. So once again, real slow. It's going to take a bit of work to work on these bends, because if you bend too much, you know, it's going to sound really bad. Here's the next bit. So that was the end of the solo there. So after you've done this little lick, you hit that 13 on the high E, then you bend up 15 on the high E, then let it down, hammer on from 13 to 15, all right, on the high E, and then slide back to 12 on the high E. So that sounds a bit confusing, doesn't it? That's how it should sound, all right? So far we've got this. And after that, that end bit, after you finish on that is, so you're going 12 on high E, 13 on the high E, 15 on the high E. Now we're going to have a little bend on the 17th fret, quite high, up a whole step. And if you can put a bit of vibrato on that, that would be really great. If you're not too familiar with vibrato and bends, do check out the video blog on the bends, and that'll help you out. So let me play you that last phrase again. So I hope you have some fun with that. Now, of course, on the first blog, if you haven't watched that yet, go and watch the first blog to this, where I talk about the rhythm, because in that I play it through for you so you can jam over the top. Now, just remember this starts on beat 3 and in the counting. So when you count in, if you're playing this yourself, you count 1 and 2 and 3 and then that's when you start to play the first lick, okay, so 3 and. So I'd advise what you do with this is record the chords yourself and then try the solo over the top, because it's one thing to be able to play the solo, you know, on its own without the chords, but then what you'll find is when you get together with another musician or you record this as a backing track and you play the solo, it's going to take a couple of times to get used to playing it with another player. So I hope you have some fun with that and enjoy it. It's a nice piece to learn.